Welcome to Surfside Stories. I am so proud to have with me today, here in the studio, a man that I have been watching many years on stage, and he is not only an asset to the music, he's an asset to the community, big part in both, but we love to hear about his beach music life. Todd Bennington here. Todd?
Hey, Wayne, how are you?
Doing well, brother, but I
Good,
want to
man.
tell you, we know who you are today. There are very few of us that know who you were. So you tell us. Let's start out. When was the first time you ever sang a solo? Didn't think about it. When's the first time you ever played an instrument? You take it from there and you run, brother. This is your show, so take it, buddy.
First time and only time I ever sang a solo. I turned 70 years old during COVID. And I made this record. I brought you a copy.
Oh, wow. Okay, the Benningtons.
Yeah.
Words can break your heart. Well, thank you. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. It was, I've always done backup vocals, but never been a lead vocalist. Just one of those things that I didn't do. But I started an instrument, I was 10 years old, and I started playing the saxophone. My mother then bought me a banjo, which confused me. All those strings and that funny noise and the clanking. And we decided I should probably learn maybe something a little simpler. So my dad was a barber, and he had a barber shop in the front of our house.
Okay.
And one of his clients was a fellow who was a country western musician. And he told him about my interest in guitar, and he started giving me a little bit of lessons. I was, I think, 11 years old. And when he'd come to get his haircut, he'd come in and we'd do stuff. And then I went to his house. They took me to his house a few times.
Okay.
And when I was 12 years old, he called my dad one day and said, I need somebody to come play bass for me at a bar. I'm 12 years old. Fortunately, my dad cut the guy's hair that owned the bar. So we got it okay. And the bar's name, it was a funny name, it's called Third Base. And the sign said the last stop before home.
Oh, okay.
So at 12 years old, I went and played in the bar. And not so excited about playing, but more excited that I could stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning. That was really something back at 12 years old. But I took lessons and played through there, got into high school. And when I was a freshman in high school, I played saxophone, played alto saxophone. Sophomore year, I played baritone saxophone. Junior year, I played drums. The senior year, I played tuba.
Oh, so you went around different instruments then.
The band director calls it the utility infielder of the band.
Oh, okay.
So I got to do a little bit of everything.
But got to ask you a quick question. Back whenever you were 12 and 13 years old playing, how did that affect your school being out to 1 o'clock in the morning?
It was on a weekend.
Okay.
It was Saturday night, so I had all Sunday to recuperate.
Okay, good.
12 years old, wasn't that tough? Now, different story. Absolutely.
Amen.
Goodness sakes. But in high school, we started a little band, and we called it Sold Out. And we played, the hits of the late 60s when we were juniors and seniors. And in 1969, we got to be the warm-up band for the warm-up band for the warm-up band for Dennis Yost the Classics Folk.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We were really bad, but we had a lot of fun, and they paid us a little bit. But we played sock hops and stuff like that, and then, everybody kind of scattered and went off to school. And we got back together with some guys in probably the early 70s and played. This was in Ohio, by the way.
Oh, okay.
In the Ohio Valley between.
You grew up in Ohio.
I grew up in Ohio, yeah. Right on the West Virginia-Pennsylvania line, so we were all pretty close there. We formed 3 or 4 different groups with pretty much the same people. But we played various and sundry clubs and bars and stuff like that through the years. And had it been now, we'd have probably been called a tribute band because we actually did an hour set of Grand Funk and an hour set of the Eagles.
Well, yeah.
Which was good. We had some good vocalists, and thank God I wasn't one of them. And we just had a lot of fun with that. Played through there, and I guess it's probably maybe 75 or so. You remember back in the days they had the groups, the Doodletown Pipers, those ensemble groups and that kind of stuff.
Yes, I do.
Well, we had one come to town, And north, there was a musicians union, so you had to belong to the union, or they'd come and make you stop playing. And I got a call from the guy that ran the union and said, I need a bass player that can read music for a week. I said, okay, I think I can do that. So they brought the Young Americans into town to a supper club. And they had their musical director and they would hire the rest of the band. And I got to play with them and got to meet Cher Bono's sister, Cheyenne.
Oh, wow.
She was in that group, which was a lot of fun. And a few weeks later, maybe a month or two later, I get a call from a booking agent in Pittsburgh. Says, you got recommended to me, and I need a bass player for about a month or two. What the heck is that all about? And he explained to me that one of the regional bands, one of the bigger regional bands, had their bass player had come down with mononucleosis. Back then, that was kind of prevalent.
Yeah.
And he said, it may be 2 weeks, it may be a month, it may be 2 months. I said, well, who is it? And he said, Wild Cherry. So I immediately went to my boss that I was working for and said, I got a proposition for you. I would like to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and be gone Thursday and Friday. And he said, why? And I explained to him. And I said, but here's the deal. You don't have to pay me for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Because I was going to make enough with Wild Cherry that I didn't have to have his money. He agreed to it, so I got to spend 4 weeks with them. Travel the Northeast, Connecticut, and Massachusetts.
And you were still young then.
Oh, yeah. I was, 24, 25 years old.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun. It taught me that I did not want to be on the road with a band full time.
Mm.
It was just, that wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, your lifestyle.
Nope, not at all. So after that, my first son was born in 1978. And I decided I needed to go ahead and concentrate on my career, which was mortgage banking. And did that, raised 3 lawyers, believe it or not. All my kids are lawyers.
Oh, great.
Yeah, well, some people think that's me. But took really a 32-year vacation from playing music. And my oldest daughter in 2012 was getting married. Wanted to have a band, and so we were Kathy and I had bought a place in Surfside in 2003 and had been there and pretty much every weekend and gotten into to listen to beach music, going out to see bands and this and that and the other. And we went to the Tabor City Yam Festival.
Yam Festival?
Yam Festival. We had a yam good time.
But
the entertainers were there. I got to talking to a couple of them and just kind of not necessarily befriended them, but they were pretty friendly to me, and we chatted. And so we saw them a couple more times, and finally my daughter said, I'm ready to pick a band. So we went up to Ocean Isle here.
Okay.
And she said, yeah, I think they'd be great. And I knew were able to do a dinner music set, quiet stuff. Yes. So we went ahead and hired them. And it turns out Earl lived 4 miles from me. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah. So I started taking some money here and there for getting paid for the band, and talked to him a lot. And I was doing a little bit of writing at that point in time. And I said, how about if I write an article for you? Let's see if we can get it published. And he said, okay. So we spent some time together and ended up getting an article published in Union County Magazine called The Pearl of Union County, because Earl the Pearl.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it worked out really nice. And I actually later got picked up by Beach Music Scene Magazine, the same article. Anyway, we progressed and we get up almost to the wedding, and I said, Earl, I used to play some bass guitar. I said, how about if I play a couple songs? And he said, you're paying us, you do what you want to do. So I did. And I played a couple songs with him, and then ran into him again at 2001. He and Mike Brown were sitting there, and I said, yeah, I really enjoyed playing with you guys. And Earl looks at Brown and says, you think we ought to put him on stage? Brown goes, he can't hurt us. So that was kind of.
I can hear Mike saying that.
Yes, absolutely. Mike and I become great friends, And my first job with them was actually at the Peggy Hughes concert series up in Ocean Isle Beach. The following year after we saw them with my daughter.
Okay.
And the rest kind of just took off from there. Got to travel, I think 8 states with them. Got to play in front of Bill Haley and the Comets. Got to open up for the Family Stone. Got to play. My favorite part, and you'll love this, was we played for Ainsley Earnhardt's mother's birthday party.
Oh wow! Okay.
I still got a picture with Ainsley.
Okay.
That was a pretty good one. And probably the highlight of my time with the Entertainers was we were playing at Lynn's club, dance club in Charlotte. And lo and behold, who comes up to sing "I Love Beach Music" with Jackie Gold?
Wow.
And I talked to the guitar player afterwards, and I said, Eddie, if I die tomorrow, I've accomplished what I want to do. I got to back Jackie Gold.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And we just kept going through there, and that started in 2012. And in 2018, I kind of took a little different turn, not with the band, but I was sitting at Fat Harold's during Winter SOS beside Mike Worley. We're having bologna sandwiches. And he had just started his 2 for Tuesdays on the surf. And I said, I got an idea for you. I said, I think you should do a original and then a cover. Still 2 for the same song, but by 2 different bands of the same one. And he said, I've thought about that before. And he said, I'll tell you what, you come up with the name and we'll give it a shot. So a couple weeks later, we were actually going to Florida to a Band of Oz cruise, oddly enough. And the name came to me, and I called him, and I said, what about the original covered disc lunch? And Mike said, perfect. So we talked about it, decided how we were going to do it, and in spring 18 SOS, we kicked it off. And when he and I did it, one week he would pick a song, the next week I would pick a song, and then we'd find a good cover of it that we liked and talk about it. And it was kind of fun because we did it during lunch hour. And then when COVID came, we still were able to do it, but you couldn't see anybody. So my family and I started doing Zoom cooking, where we would, we'd get together on Zoom, talk about a recipe, everybody get the stuff, and then we get together actually on the computer and cook.
How did you get into cooking? I hear, once a week you're in taking food to Jim Quick or the boys there at the surf, and I know you got your surf shut. How did you get started to begin with before you got into the Zoom cooking?
My mother bought me a Betty Crocker cookbook for kids when I was probably 8.
Okay.
And just kind of turned me loose. And I have always enjoyed it. My grandmother taught me a lot about cooking, and I don't know. Kathy and I we've been married for 52 years, so we kind of take turns cooking.
Yep.
And it just turned out, and that's how it kind of got started on the surf was during COVID. And we started doing that and went on through there until Mike left. And then when he left, Jim Quick came in, and I didn't really know. I knew him, but not well.
Yeah.
And I gave him about a month and a half to get his feet on the ground. I went in and said, you remember this? And I said, man, I love that thing. And I said, well, you want to do it again? He said, sure. He said, but let's do it different. Let's go ahead and do originals, but then do covers by regional bands that we all know, which worked out really good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that kind of got that thing started. And I would, on Monday night before the show on Tuesday, I'd be calling whatever the cover band was, somebody in that band. I mean, Keith Houston or Craig Woolard or, Al Woodruff, whoever it happened to be,
Yep.
and say, talk to me about why, when, and where you did this song. And it always was really interesting. And we had a really, really good following for that show. And got on, and then in 23, when they brought the 4th DJ on, they kind of cut out all of that kind of stuff. So the show stopped at that point, but Quick and I still kind of sneak one in every once in a while.
I noticed you show up once in a while. I hear announce your entrance.
Yes, yeah, and it's always fun. They're good guys, and I enjoy being up there with them. And got to be friends with he and Jim Morgan, very very good friends. And so that kept going. 23, everything just kind of changed. That stopped, and then I was actually driving home from North Wilkesboro after a show, and it was 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Come back to North Myrtle Beach, and I fell asleep, and the rumble strips fortunately woke me up.
Ooh, okay.
And I get,
Wow.
you know, I'm 72 years old. I probably don't need to be doing this, driving around crazy at night. So I talked to Earl, and we decided I'd just kind of retire from the band. And since then, I have just, I still have equipment, and had some interest from a couple other things that haven't developed yet, but we'll see. So, that's kind of my musical journey.
Well, tell me something. Of all the songs, okay, but the entertainers, you do a lot of different types of music.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite type of song? Give me a couple examples to play and to listen to.
I'm a sucker for slow songs.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of slow songs, and a couple that the entertainers have done. There was once a Ronnie Millsap cover that was on the Summer Love CD, and the name of it escapes me, but it was a beautiful song. Earl did it really well. I like
It was
that.
almost like a song.
No,
Was that one that good?
No, gosh, I'm sorry.
Ronnie did a lot of good slow
He
stuff.
did a lot of great stuff.
Anyway, go ahead, carry on.
And actually, the first song I ever did with him was "Thank Goodness She Cheated."
Okay.
Which Doug Manning wrote.
Yes.
And that's the first song I learned to play with the Entertainers, and really enjoyed that. "Satisfy My Woman," Jim Studemeyer doing that. That was just a fun song to always do, and just everything. I just loved playing with those guys. They were a great bunch of guys, and we had some people in and out over the years, and I think we had 5 different keyboard players and 4 or 5 different horn players, but they were all good folks, and we just had fun. And it's amazing the things you learn traveling in a van with people if you're able to go with them.
Yeah.
And the things. And I've turned you on to a couple little things about some people you've interviewed.
Yes, you have too. Absolutely.
I told you the good story,
and I appreciate that.
but that's kind of been my story, and I still love music, and stay. I think we're going to maybe try to reboot the show with the sermon again.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see how it goes, and go from there.
Okay, compare. You had 2 different lifestyles of band music. You had the early days, then you took the break, and had the older days. Mm-hmm. Compare those 2.
Oh, Lord. The early days were easier because I was a lot younger. But in the early days, you didn't have the sound guy. You did your own sound. You didn't have the massive PA systems that you have now. Didn't have the technology that you have now.
Oh, okay.
It was a whole different world, and it's funny. I have a picture of my amplifier I had in '75 that was as tall as me, and it would literally, if you had loose pants on back then, you were wearing big old bell bottoms, so they flutter when you were playing. And today, the last couple of years I was with the Entertainers, I had a little teeny 12-ounce, or not 12-inch speaker amplifier that sounded just as good as that big one did. And it's the technology is amazing. I think to be honest, the guitars back then were better, in my opinion. I often wish I had.
That was my next question. To compare the instruments of the 2 periods.
I would have loved to have kept the old Fender jazz bass that I had from back in the '70s, but I still have one that I got during my break period. I still played for myself, so I kept a guitar. I bought a guitar and an amp and played a little bit, but You know, and I found as I got older, the guitars got heavier.
Really?
Oh God, you're holding that thing for 4 hours. I really did a lot of swapping around the last few years, and I went from a big thick bass to a little skinny short scale, which is I think maybe 4 inches shorter than a big one.
Yeah.
But it weighed about 2 pounds less. So for 4 hours,
Oh, 4 hours, that matters?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You can tell the difference. End of the night.
It really does make a big
What
difference.
does it make a different sound quality between the two?
Some, but not really.
The average person could not tell the
No,
difference.
absolutely.
It takes somebody trained in that instrument.
Yeah, you got to really be into it to understand it, to hear the differences in them. And again, with the technology, the pickups are so much better now.
Oh, yeah.
The strings are better.
No, absolutely.
And the amplification's so much better.
It's the technology. The soundboards today amaze me. Have you had any chance to actually play with the new soundboards?
The entertainers went from analog to digital probably midway through the time I was with them. And it made a huge difference. And once the change was a bear, I mean, it was hard. Because you had a guy that Bill Safert was our sound guy then, and he had been running analog for his whole life.
Yeah.
And it's switching over to that, but once he got it, it was great. I mean, it was just so much clearer and crisper. There's so many more things you can do with the sound.
Is Bill still with the entertainers? Or?
No. Bill had some health problems and left. Gosh, a long time ago. He left, and Preston Honeycutt came on board with us.
And Preston was there whenever you decided to retire.
Yes, Preston was there, and now Tracy Gentry is their sound guy.
So if you had the opportunity tonight, and Earl the Pearl called, said, "We need you. Our bass player can't be here tonight." Would you go on stage tonight and do it? Absolutely.
I'd be in the car in 10, 15 minutes. I'd have to go get my equipment to storage unit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would absolutely do it. I mean, I love those guys. I love playing with them. They're just a great bunch of guys. They're great musicians. I mean, anytime you can have a band like that plays as much as they do, and you really don't have to practice new songs. Everybody gets the song, works on their part, get together before a gig, play it a couple times, and wham, bam, thank you, man, you're there.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it more like a jam session when you get together?
No.
Or do you ever do a jam session?
Not with them. I've done it with a couple other folks. Back when Blackwater was first starting, I sat in with them.
Okay.
A good little bit, and that was always fun. It wasn't a jam session, but it was different than what the entertainers did. And Neil Singletary was kind enough to let me do that. I don't know if you know Neil, but he passed away here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I knew the name. Did not know him, but I know the name. Yeah.
One of my greatest, I guess, treasures in life was I got to know Neil, and Bridger Warlick, who is the trombone player for Gary Lauder, is his grandson.
I did not know that.
And Neil played in Blackwater, or not, it was with Pink Slips, and Bridger was with Lauder. And one day I was talking to Neil, I said, I need to do something so folks will remember me. And I said, let's do an article about you and Bridger. Okay. So we got together, and I talked to Peter Carpenter and said, I got this idea. And he said, what do you think? And he said, okay. So I got together with Neil and Bridger, and they came to my house, and we sat down for a couple hours and kind of went through their histories. And I was able to write an article that actually got published in the, I guess it's the 22 guide for the CBMAs.
Wow, okay.
It was called A 4-String Guitar and a Slide Trombone, about them and their relationship and all that. And that was really special.
So you brought your writing skills into the beach music world.
I did a little bit, yeah. I did a little bit.
If there's one person you would love to do an article about and haven't been able to, who would be that person?
Jackie Gore. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'd love to sit down with him. And first time I ever met Jackie, Well, the first time was when we played with them on that one thing, but that was kind of a hey, I'm behind you. And I was at the BMW dealership in Charlotte, and Jackie, I'm getting some work on my wife's car. And Jackie was in there. We sat and talked for an hour and a half while our cars were getting fixed. But he's just an amazing guy, and we talk about the king of beach music.
He did a fantastic job at the CBMAs this year.
He did.
So just go on stage and not even knowing it was going to happen.
Yeah.
He brought out, and you saw who the real Jackie Gore was.
He did, and he saw his love for his daughter too.
Oh yes, Terry's absolutely fantastic. They're a great team, and I was glad to be a part of that. So
absolutely,
and,
I mean, y'all did a great job promoting that thing and getting it out there. And oddly enough, in my career, I was a mortgage banker.
Okay.
And in probably 1986, maybe 87, I made a loan to Jackie to buy a house.
Oh, really?
It was like I had been in the earlier bands and all that kind of stuff, and I got all the stuff, and I'm like, how in the devil does somebody make that much money in a band? But we made him a loan, and then he and I talked about that day we were at the dealership, and he remembered doing it, and he remembered me, and it was something.
He still has a good memory. He still has a great voice and is a great man to know. But you know what? You tell me, what do you see anything in the future for you? Either in the writing or in the music.
I don't know about the writing. That's kind of one of those opportunistic things. If it presents itself, I'll do it. But in the music, there's some guys that were former entertainers that are talking about a tribute type band and asked me if I'd be interested, and I said yes. So they're putting that together, maybe. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, if Earl calls me more, I'm there.
No.
But other than that, I'm just happy listening. I just enjoy beach music.
Well, I got to tell you, our time is up already. Does it not fly?
It does.
I mean, it flies. But especially when you got good stories like you've got. And, now I know who you are. I know how you came through the system. Our people are going to hear it all. It's a great story.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming out today.
Before we go, I'm waiting for that question that you ask everybody.
What is beach music?
Yeah.
Okay, what is beach music?
My first shag teacher, I asked her, what kind of song can you shag to? And she said, anything that's got a beat that goes tick, 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 tick. So I've incorporated that as I learned to shag. And I don't know if you've seen my wife dance, so I have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
But to me, beach music is music that comes in pleasantly through your ears. It goes down and warms your heart. It comes out when your feet start moving.
Great description. I think that's a good one to end it on, brother.
All right, my friend.
I tell you what, thank you again for being out here. Folks, if you know where to go to surfsidestories.com. You can click on the audio. Pretty soon you'll be able to click on the video also. We're getting ready to add that in. But you can go to YouTube, look up Surfside Stories, or you can watch Roku TV. The Beach Music Live channel is now carrying all the podcasts. So stay with us. Be back next week. Thanks so much for watching.